gentlemen, welcome back to this couch. Welcome back to the Kingdom Couple channel. Listen, if this is your first time, yeah, that is my wife. But anyway, if this is your first time coming to this channel, kindly do the right thing. First things first, subscribe. Please kindly subscribe. If you are a returning person who loves us and we love you so much and you really were just waiting for yet another new content, here it is. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for those comments you always leave. It's amazing to be able to interact with different kind of people on this great platform. And it's always amazing to know that, every content that we bring out there is touching different people differently. And that is really what our aim is. As you may know, this is a one-man show day. My wife is busy on the other side of the world, of course, disturbing me while I'm taking this video. Of course, if you want to catch up with her, look out for her videos with Fridays with Faith, every Fridays where she talks everything body, soul, and spirit. Today, I want us to talk about 3 simple ways to detect. Love, is it detect or detect?
What?
To detect.
Detect what?
Yes, it's 3 simple ways to detect toxicity in your next partner.
Detect.
Yes. How? 3 simple ways. Nothing philosophical, nothing relationship expert, nothing counselor, nothing. Simple things, simple characteristics that will tell you this one, toxic. And like that musician said, balega, 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 I'm telling you. What are the 3 simple clues or simple things, simple habits that can easily help you detect toxicity in your next partner, especially in a man? Let's talk about the man's perspective. Number 1, always look out for how your man reacts, responds, and receives from God. There is no way around it. A man without a divine intervention in his life is more dangerous than a man who has at least some kind of spirituality in their lives. And unfortunately, there's so many spiritual ways that people do these days. And the most dangerous one is self-worship. Watch out to a man who does not have a God they submit to. Because a man who has no one they submit or account to does not and is not planning or preparing to account for anything or how they treat you in the relationship. Very important. We've always heard of, especially the ladies, they always go like, I want a God-fearing man. We must, I think in the next video with the First Lady, we will be able to break down what a God-fearing partner is. Because going to church, reading a Bible, being a pastor, being a bishop does not necessarily mean you are God-fearing. There are people who work for God, but like you and me, most people hate the people they work for. Simply because you are working for God does not mean you submit to God. Watch out for your man's altar. Where is it that he submits to? You see, if a man knows that for how he treats you, he will have to every day report back to God, you are in the right relationship. Because no man will want to go on their knees after beating you up, after abusing you, after, not buying good stuff for you. Okay, ladies, I'm speaking for you now. Will be able to have the confidence to go back to the altar of God and say, this is it. Because remember, the ultimate measure that we have been given biblically on how a man should treat a woman is when the Bible says, men, love your wives even as Christ loved the church, that he gave himself up. No man who self-worships, no man who worships himself, no man who is beyond the normal ego limits will be able to love a woman the way Christ loved the church, with all its blemishes, and not only love, but also is preparing that very church as his bride to represent it holy and blameless before the throne room of his Father. That is how men should, God-fearing men, stand first on that principle when it comes to relationship. They are not just God-fearing. In the relationship, they understand that their number one duty, their fundamental principle that they stand on is that they should be able to love you as a woman the way Christ loved the church, and also prepare you. That's why they are called bridegroom. They are able to groom you so that you are blameless and forever glowing, presenting you to the world, to their parents, and in the presence of God. Watch out. What altar is your man submitting to? What are the principles of that altar when it comes to relationship? Number two, very simple stuff, right? Yes. The second one, watch out on how he treats his family, especially his mother. The Bible in the book of Timothy also, again, gives us a good guidance that a man who cannot provide for his family is worse than an infidel, is worse than a pagan, is worse than a Satanist. Meaning that a man who's not able to provide for that child he has with that baby mama is worse than a Satanist, is worse than a witch. Listen, every man who especially does not respect, honor, and provide for his mother in this age and generation where women have been the ones raising this generation, what do you think is so special about you that to change him to be able to treat you better than his own mother? Watch out for those groups. Ask your man, when last did you talk to your mother? When last did you text your mother? When last did you buy groceries for your mother? Those kind of questions will lead you to understand whether this man has demons in his heart that he's still fighting with. And until he wins against those demons, I would say, balega, balega, balega. Anyway, let's go to, what is the third thing? The third most important yet very simple clue that will really show you toxicity in a man is how he treats the waitress in a restaurant. Yes, you heard me right. How your man treats the waitress will show you how he really treats people. Our measure of honor and respect is not on how we treat the rich, the prominent, or those we deem higher than us. It's how we treat those who are lower than us, or those we think, at least we think, are lower than our status and our standards. How a man, you know, there are certain men who wants to be all romantic with you, and yet wants to express this toxic masculinity when it comes to a waitress in the restaurant. My dear, never ever think, and I know you hate big code, my dear, right? Never ever think a man who's rude to an elderly person or who's rude to a waitress will always and forever remain polite with you. Your day is coming. That is a characteristic embedded within him, and it's just a matter of time before he uses that very same voice, that same unnecessary shout on you. So watch out. Those are the three simple things. Hey, especially in a restaurant, pick up some few things like how he treats the waitress, how he tips the waitress. It's important. Hey, especially if you believe that a man should be a provider and you are believing to working towards building an empire with your man. Remember, how your man tips will reveal so much of his financial attitude or financial character. The altar on which your man submits to, it is very dangerous to be in love or in a relationship with a man who demands submission from you, whilst he submits to a wrong altar or he does not have anyone he submits to at all. And of course, a man who is not there, who does not provide for his family, especially who does not honor and respect his mother, will never treat you above the levels he has set to treat his own mother. And especially if you're in a relationship with a man who has a child out there, always investigate on does he provide for that child? Is that child fine? What is the relationship between him and that child? Because that will reveal so much of the emotional void that your man may be fighting, and you might want to intervene in helping him identify those battles before you want to help him build a future together with you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope it has provoked some great thoughts. And I'm not saying to you guys, go now and be FBIs. Because women are good at being FBIs. These are subtle, simple ways that you can easily observe your man. On your first date, your second date, you're 2 months into it, you're 3 months into it, before you raise your hopes up and find yourself locked up in an abusive relationship where you can only come out when you are in a coffin and you run 6 feet under. What we are seeing today is very sad, and unfortunately we do not have a lot of us men speaking out about it, but you know, we are living amongst people who tend to be monsters behind doors, sweet, loving men who open doors and take you to restaurant, buy you expensive stuff in public. Beware. And this is just an alert to say, ladies, besides you carrying that spray and carrying that gun, carrying that knife to protect yourself, the other most important aspect of your life you must be able to protect is your emotions. And one of the ways to do it without being provocative is simply by observing the habits of your aspiring crush partner and all those kind of things, and being able to pick up simple things like provision and attitude towards the family, simple things like the altar of the person's, submits to, and of course, how the person treats the general public, because we can be nice to you today and be as nasty to you tomorrow as we are to everyone else that you may think we are doing it to show you we are men enough to protect you. A man who's able to protect you does not need to be arrogant to innocent people who have done nothing. You want to protect your woman? Protect your women first from all the abuse we are seeing today, by being able to always conversate and speak out about it, and speaking out from a place of integrity, knowing that you yourself are having self-conversation on whether you've got that animal moving inside of your mind or you don't. Being able to identify our emotional blockages and all these things that men are going through, especially hatred and bitterness towards their fathers and all these kind of things. That is the first step to being a man. Till next time, subscribe.